I am Jerome Bowden, and I would just like to state that my execution is about to be carried out. And I would like to thank the people of this institution for taking such good care of me in the way that they did. And I hope that by my execution being carried out, that it may bring some light to this thing that it is wrong.
The idea is we only are supposed to execute, quote, the worst of the worst.
Well, we are 17 years past the Atkins decision, and still people with intellectual disabilities are at risk on death rows across this country.
Georgia was the first state to outlaw the execution of people with intellectual disability as a direct result of the popular outcry against the execution of Jerome Bowden.
He was not violent. Jerome was a slow person.
Life always has been good to me, except, when this tragedy happened.
Warren Hill's case probably took the greatest toll on me. Warren had been convicted of murder. He had an intellectual disability, and he was ultimately executed. And I miss him.
When you have the death penalty, and black and brown people are presumed dangerous and guilty, what you have to show to prove their guilt is much lower than what you might otherwise have to show. These disparities are shaped by this larger history, sustained by 100 years of lynching that is very much part of the death penalty that we are implementing today.
The intelligence test is a tricky thing. If somebody scores with a 70, that 70 could range anywhere from a 60 to an 80, and so you have to be able to interpret, and that introduces the possibility of bias.
Professor Bob Sanger has unearthed ethnic adjustments in which several psychologists have arbitrarily raised the IQ scores of African American and Latino defendants.
There are all sorts of reasons why one can be seriously offended by the notion that you would execute a child. I think the same reaction should apply to an older person who has the mentality of a child.
The law forbids the execution of people who are intellectually disabled. We have executed and are going to continue to execute people with intellectual disability.
Whenever you give governments absolute power over life and death of their citizens, whatever prejudices are in that society are going to come out.
I think our system in a lot of ways is about vengeance.